There is a small island in Japan where people forget to die. That is not a metaphor. It is a documented fact. On the island of Okinawa, people routinely live past 100 years old. They don't just survive into old age, they thrive. They garden, they laugh, they gather with friends, they feel needed. Western scientists flew to Okinawa expecting to find a secret diet or a genetic anomaly. What they found instead was a concept so simple, so deeply human, that many of them went home and quietly rethought their own lives. That concept is called Ikigai. Roughly translated, it means the reason you get up in the morning, not the reason you go to work, not the reason you pay your bills, the reason your life feels worth living. Today on The Mindful Edge, we explore Ikigai, the book by Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles that brought this Japanese philosophy to the world. We go deep into the ideas that explain why some people burn out by 40 and why others are still dancing at 102. If you have ever felt like you are working hard but living for the weekend, if you have ever achieved a goal and felt strangely empty afterward, if you have ever wondered whether this is really all there is, this video is for you. Stay with me, because what follows might reframe everything you think you know about success. Hector Garcia is a Spanish engineer who moved to Japan and fell so in love with the culture that he never came back. Francesc Miralles is a philosopher and author who has spent his career studying what makes humans flourish. Together, they traveled to Okinawa. The book Ikigai was published in 2016 and became one of the fastest spreading ideas of the decade, translated into 60 languages and read by millions around the world, because it touched something most modern people have quietly lost. Idea 1. Ikigai is not your passion, it is your reason. The most famous image associated with Ikigai is a diagram of 4 overlapping circles. What you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for. Where all 4 circles overlap, that is your Ikigai. But here's what most people miss when they encounter this diagram for the first time. They turn it into a job description. They think, I just need to find the perfect career that ticks all 4 boxes, and then my life will feel meaningful. The Japanese concept of Ikigai is far older and far simpler than that diagram. In Japan, Ikigai does not have to be grand. It does not have to involve your career at all. It can be as small as your morning tea ritual, the conversation you have with a neighbor on the way to the market, the feeling of being useful to someone you love. Ikigai is not your passion, it is your reason, and your reason does not need to be impressive, it just needs to be real. Idea 2. Flow is the state where Ikigai lives. One of the most powerful ideas in the book is its connection to the concept of flow. Flow is the psychological state where you are so absorbed in what you are doing that time disappears. You forget to check your phone, you forget to feel hungry, you are simply, completely here. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who spent decades studying this state, found that people report their highest levels of happiness not during rest or leisure, but during flow. The Okinawan centenarians that Garcia and Miralles interviewed all had one thing in common. They all had something in their life that put them into flow regularly. For the fisherman, it was the casting of the net. For the craftsman, it was the shaping of wood. For the gardener, it was the pruning of a single branch. They were not chasing happiness. They were absorbed in doing, and the happiness came as a byproduct. This is one of the deepest insights in the book. Stop seeking happiness directly. Find what absorbs you completely and do more of that. Idea 3. The moai. You cannot live long alone. In Okinawa, there is a social structure called a moai. A moai is a small group of people, usually 5, who commit to supporting each other for life. They meet regularly, they share meals, they celebrate together. They grieve together. They hold each other financially in times of hardship. Okinawans don't just happen to have moais. They are formed in childhood and maintained for decades. Some of the centenarians interviewed had been in the same moai for over 70 years. The science behind this is striking. Loneliness, research now consistently shows, is as damaging to physical health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Social isolation accelerates cognitive decline, weakens the immune system, and shortens lifespan measurably. The Okinawans were not just socially active, they were deeply, consistently, reliably known by others. This is what the Moai provides, not just company, but belonging. A group of people who would notice if you were gone. Ask yourself honestly, do you have that? Idea 4. Hara Hachi Bu, the art of stopping before you're full. This idea might be the most practical in the entire book. Before every meal, many Okinawans repeat a phrase, Hara Hachi Bu. It means eat until you are 80% full. Not a diet, not a calorie count, not a restriction plan. Simply stop before you are completely full. The science behind this practice is now well established. When you eat to complete fullness, your body spends enormous energy on digestion. When you stop at 80%, digestion is lighter, inflammation is lower, and the body ages more slowly. But Hara Hachi Bu is not just about food. It is a philosophy of restraint that runs through Japanese culture. It extends to work, to socializing, to consumption. Leave a little in reserve. Do not exhaust the thing you love. Stop before the point of depletion. Applied to your working life, leave work before you are completely drained. Applied to your relationships. Don't give until there is nothing left of you. Applied to your ambitions. Know when you have done enough for today. The 80% principle is the quiet secret of sustained energy over a lifetime. Idea 5. Wabi-sabi, finding beauty in what is imperfect and impermanent. The final idea in the book is the one most likely to stay with you longest. Japanese aesthetics contains a concept called wabi-sabi. It is the appreciation of things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. A bowl that has been cracked and repaired with gold, kintsugi, is considered more beautiful than a perfect bowl because it carries its history. It shows that it has been through something, and it is still here. Western culture is in a near constant war with imperfection. We filter our photos, we hide our struggles, we apologize for our limitations. We chase a version of ourselves that is always just slightly beyond reach. Wabi-sabi offers a completely different relationship with reality. The impermanence of things is not a problem to be solved. It is the very source of their beauty. The cherry blossom is not beautiful despite lasting only a week. It is beautiful because of it, and so are you. Your unfinished edges, your past cracks, your ongoing becoming, all of it, exactly as it is already enough. How to find your Ikigai, starting today. The authors offer a simple and honest warning in the book. Most people in the modern world have lost touch with their Ikigai, not because it doesn't exist, but because they have never been asked to look for it, or they have been too busy to sit still long enough to hear it. So here are 4 questions. Not a quiz, not a formula, just 4 questions worth sitting with, honestly, this week. Question 1. What do you love doing so much that time disappears? Not what you think you should love, what you actually lose yourself in. Question 2. What are you quietly better at than most people around you? Not your job title. What do people come to you for without you asking? Question 3. What does the world, your community, actually need that you could contribute to? Question 4. Is there any way, even a small way, that any of this could sustain you? You don't need to answer all 4 today, but pick one and sit with it honestly for 5 minutes. That is the beginning. And remember what the Okinawan centenarians taught us. Your Ikigai does not have to be grand. It does not have to be a brand or a business or a breakthrough. It might be the way you make people feel when they are around you. It might be the garden you tend on Sunday mornings. It might be the stories you tell your children at night. Small reasons, lived consistently, over decades. That is the Japanese secret. Not to burn brighter, but to burn longer. Ikigai is not a destination you arrive at. It is a direction you keep choosing. Every morning when you wake up, you are making a choice, consciously or not, about what your day is for. The people of Okinawa have simply been making that choice deliberately for a very long time, and the result is a life that feels worth living, not at some future point, but right now, today, in the ordinary moments that most people rush through. If this video gave you something to think about, I would love to know what it was. Drop it in the comments. Your answer is always part of the conversation we are building here. If you haven't subscribed to The Mindful Edge yet, now is a good time. Every week, we go deep into a book on mind, body, or leadership, not to summarize it, but to find the ideas inside it that are genuinely worth living by.